It's midday. Good afternoon. Here is the midday news on OGBC. My name is Kemi Chukwu. First, the major items. The federal government is renewing commitment to reducing cost of living. This is as government at all levels have been told to improve people's living standard. UN Security Council to vote on resolution condemning attacks on aid workers in Gaza. The President Bola Tinubu-led administration is leaving no stone unturned towards reducing the cost of living and putting more money in the pocket of Nigerians. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, stated this on Thursday at a ministerial briefing on the first anniversary of the administration. The minister made it known that President Bola Tinubu is attracting more local and foreign investment and transforming the nation's infrastructure, assuring that the government will not relent until it delivers the renewed hope to all Nigerians. Alhaji Idris noted that the renewed hope agenda of the administration has started laying a solid foundation that would make life better for the people, citing the Consumer Credit Corporation, the Nigeria Education Loan Fund, Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas, the 200 billion naira presidential grant, among others, are some of the landmark initiatives of the administration. Meanwhile, the presidency has assured that the inflationary trend in the country will not stop the federal government's school feeding program. The senior special assistant to the president on school feeding, Dr. Yetunde Adeniji, gave assurance while kicking off a value for money study in Osun State, which aims to ensure that the school feeding program delivers maximum impact for school children. According to the presidential aide, President Bola Tinubu will stop at nothing towards fulfilling his promise of feeding 10 million school children annually in the country. Dr. Adeniji stated that the government is putting in place measures to address challenges that may hinder the success of the program. In the meantime, government at all levels have been called upon to take concrete steps to improve the living standard of the people. The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sahad Abubakar, made the call in a remark at the first quarterly meeting of the Nigeria Interreligious Council, NIREC, in Abuja on Thursday. The Sultan, who is a co-chair of NIREC, noted that Nigerians are increasingly being frustrated by poverty and hunger. Alhaji Abubakar therefore saw the need for political office holders to rise to their responsibilities of protecting Nigerians and uplifting their living standards. Reports from the Center of Commerce, Kano, however, that a Temple of Justice has issued an ex parte order preventing Governor Abba Yusuf from reinstating Emir Muhammadu Sanusi. The Federal High Court also halted the implementation of a new law that abolished the four emirates of Bichi, Gaya, Karaye, and Ranu. The order, given by Justice Mohammed Liman on Thursday, directed all parties to maintain the status quo pending the examination of a suit challenging the actions taken by the Kano state government. The federal government and the Nigerian military have been commended for deploying more troops to Zamfara state in a bid to tackle the activities of bandits. Governor Dauda Lawal gave the commendation in a statement after a State Security Council meeting in Gusau. The governor particularly thanked the troops of the Joint Task Force for the sustained onslaught against the assailants that have been causing chaos in the state, and that the state is seeing the result of military action against the bandits. The meeting was attended by all heads of security agencies in the state. You are listening to the midday news on OGBC 90.5 FM. The United Nations Security Council is scheduled to vote on a resolution that strongly condemns attacks on humanitarian workers and UN personnel in Gaza. The resolution also demands that all combatants protest in accordance with international law without singling out any conflict. The Switzerland-sponsored resolution expresses grave concern at the growing number of attacks and threats against UN and humanitarian personnel, and the disregard for and violation of international humanitarian law by combatants. Japan and South Korea have announced separate sanctions packages targeting companies, vessels, or individuals allegedly involved in supplying North Korean weapons to Russia for use in Ukraine in violation of United Nations resolutions. This Friday's announcement came just days before the leaders of South Korea, Japan, and China meet in Seoul for their first trilateral summit in nearly 5 years. Pyongyang has been accused of sending thousands of containers of munitions to Russia, and experts have said its recent testing spree may be of weapons destined for use on battlefields in Ukraine. Japan's top government spokesperson, Mr. Yumashima Hayashi, said Tokyo strongly condemns the alleged deals. The United States says it is reviewing its bilateral cooperation with Georgia over its controversial foreign agent law that triggered weeks of mass protests in the capital, Tbilisi. In a statement, the U.S. Secretary of State, Mr. Anthony Blinken, said Washington was introducing visa restrictions for individuals responsible for undermining democracy in Georgia. No officials were named, but they are believed to be members of the governing Georgian Dream Party. Critics say the foreign agent law is inspired by similar legislation used in neighboring Russia to target Kremlin critics, a claim denied by the ruling party. Officials in Tbilisi argue that the legislation will boost transparency of foreign funding. Passed last week, the law requires non-governmental organizations and independent media that receive more than 20% of their funding from foreign donors to register as organizations bearing the interest of a foreign power. Georgia's president has vetoed the law, but the ruling party has enough members of parliament to override her intervention by holding another vote. Czech President Mr. Peter Pavel has been taken to hospital after injuring himself while riding a motorcycle. His office said the injuries were not serious, but a short observation was required. Czech police said they were not investigating the accident because it happened on a closed racing circuit and not on the road. Mr. Pavel, aged 62, is known for his love of motorbikes. This is not the first time he has attracted trouble over his hobby. Last year, he had to publicly apologize after being spotted riding a bike without a helmet. A former high-ranking NATO general, Mr. Pavel, was elected as the Czech Republic's president in March last year. A few weeks after his inauguration, he rode a motorbike to the state of Bavaria in neighboring Germany. Local officials and aid agencies say a massive landslide is feared to have killed many after it struck six remote villages in Papua New Guinea. The landslide buried more than 100 homes after it struck at around 0300 local time this Friday in the highlands of Enga, north of the island nation in the southwest Pacific. It was not immediately clear how many people were trapped in the rubble, and no casualties have been officially confirmed. Enga Governor Mr. Peter Patters told newsmen that it was an unprecedented natural disaster. Papua New Guinea's Prime Minister, Mr. James Marape, said his government has sent disaster officials to the landslide site to start relief work, recovery of bodies, and reconstruction of infrastructure. On sport, former Chelsea striker Olivier Giroud says he intends to retire from international duty with France after the Euro 2024. The AC Milan striker is France's all-time top scorer with 57 goals in 13 appearances and won the World Cup in 2018. The former Arsenal forward has been named in Didier Deschamps' regional squad for the Euros, which start next month in Germany. He scored 4 goals at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, including a late winner against England in the quarterfinals. The socioeconomic development of the country requires concerted effort. Play your own part. To end the midday news, another look at the major items. Speaking at a ministerial briefing on the first anniversary of the President Bola Tinubu-led administration, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, reassured of the administration's commitment to reducing the cost of living in the country. The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sa'ad Abubakar, has called on government at all levels to take concrete steps to improve the living standard of Nigerians. In the international arena, we heard that the United Nations Security Council is set to vote on a resolution that condemns attack on humanitarian workers and UN personnel in Gaza. The Midday News was edited by Chris Ogu and broadcast from OGBC, Abeokuta.